Railroad Preserver 2000 here, back again, doing another live stream here. And this live stream is mostly concerning the recent trend I've been hearing a lot of people on YouTube discussing, and that is a lot of various creators quitting YouTube. And I just thought I'd give my thoughts on it. First off, I've known what YouTube is and have watched YouTube and whatnot ever since I was around 8 years old. And a lot of the creators who are quitting, mostly gaming ones, are ones I either heard about or grew up watching from then till now. Captain Sparkles, Popular MMOs, Stampy, Jacksepticeye, and a few others, you know. And I love people are assuming these YouTubers are quote unquote quitting. Let me tell you something. These YouTubers are not quitting. I see it more as retiring. Now let me explain as to why. Firstly, a lot of these YouTubers were around the age I'm now at, but 15 or so years earlier. So they've been doing this for like 15, 16, almost 20 years in some cases. So I can see why they'd get burned out on this. But it's not just due to burnout, it's also due to life. You know, life happens while you're making plans. A lot of these guys now have, you know, different, more important priorities in life. Some of them have families. Some of them even have kids they've got to take care of. A good example is Sunday. He's a YouTuber I've watched for a long time. He not only has a wife now, he's got a few kids. So, you know, he may eventually have to retire to help raise them, you know. But basically, I see YouTube as a kind of small business, as it were. And those who make the videos and whatnot are the business owners. And a common thing with small businesses is eventually after a while, you know, the owner either just is burned out on it or just can't do it anymore or doesn't want to do it anymore or run the business anymore. Basically, that's the thing with a small business. You are the boss of that business. You are the owner. And, you know, every small business owner, these YouTubers as an example, have the right to retire whenever they feel like it. If they feel they just don't want to run the business anymore, they can shut it down if they want to. You know, they can move on from it, start something new. So to those YouTubers who are quitting, or rather retiring, I should say, I want to say thank you for making all of our childhoods great. And to those who watch these YouTubers from when they were children to now when they're young adults, I will leave it as, you know, a famous quote by the late author Dr. Seuss. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Smile because all of these YouTubers and all of their stuff happened. Don't cry because it's over. As for me, I'm not quitting for a few reasons that I've made clear in the past, but I'll just reiterate them for those who are new. Number one, I started this channel when I was about, 14. I know the date on it says October of 2015, but I still had a month to go before I was 15, but that's beside the point. Point is, I started this channel as a hobby to show what I thought was interesting in my area to other people, you know. I never did it for money, and I continue, you know, not doing it for any kind of money or financial gain. And the reason for that is so that I don't get burned out, so that I still enjoy making these recordings. I'm sure, I mean, yes, they're unprofessional and whatnot, but that just comes with, you know, the fact I'm teaching myself how to do all this, you know. But basically, you know, the channel was meant as a hobby, first and foremost, and that is still the case, even now, nearly almost 10 years later, I think. Um, Second reason is I don't have a constant upload schedule. Most of the videos I do film away from the computer, which you can see in the green glow from my glasses, are filmed, whenever I'm on trips or on day trips or just in a spot that looks interesting enough to film or photograph or stuff. So there's not really, I don't really have a very high, motivation or a very large range where I can just go out and film everything. So really, I've often revisited places instead of trying to go somewhere new every time. Like, for instance, if you look at my videos from Cass over my three visits, you'll notice first visit, the filming was terrible. Second visit, still bad, but slowly improving. By the third visit, it actually looks a bit presentable. Well, decent and or presentable. And I do that to show how much I've improved as a hobbyist sort of, filmmaker. Heck, I don't even think what I post could be considered films, rather travel logs, I think is what they could be considered, a kind of video travel log. But I'm rambling. I don't want to get off topic here. That was the second thing. The third thing is, like I said before, I'm not doing this for money. A lot of these other YouTubers were doing this sort of thing for money, but I've never intended to do this for money because it keeps the channel as something I can do as a hobby. It keeps it so I don't have to constantly grind out videos. And it keeps it to where I actually still enjoy getting out of the house and going and filming stuff and going and photographing stuff. Heck, even now I've still got ideas for little day trips and stuff. Heck, I'm thinking of going up to South Carolina pretty soon to check out a short line that's got U18 diesels running, if I'm lucky. And so you can see, like, I actually think I've got more subscribers than I do videos, to be honest. And really, I like it that way. I like that I don't have 1 million videos on the channel. I like that I don't have 1 million subscribers on the channel. I mean, heck, even then, there's 3,000 people who have subscribed to the channel, but as you can see, only 2 of them actually show up, and they're locals practically. People who know me, people who've talked to me online for a few years and whatnot. And, I like that it's still on the small side. I like that it's still, I guess you could say, local, so to speak, It keeps everything manageable, I guess. It's like I don't have to be paranoid about random people I don't know trying to stalk me or something, I never wanted to deal with that, ever. I know my friend in New England's sort of the same way on that regard, but that's a whole other thing. Anyways, the fourth thing regarding this is, will I quit? Or will I retire, rather? Well, that honestly awaits to be seen. Right now, I don't really have any plans on stopping, the YouTube thing. And since it's something I do on my own time, on my own terms, and at my own pace, without any, motivator regarding, like, financial gain, I could see myself doing this for a few years. But, eventually, if life gets, more cluttered and as responsibilities increase, I will ultimately have to slow this stuff down or even stop, I wouldn't want to, but, sometimes, you don't really have a choice in the matter. So I'll do it for as long as I can or as long as I feel like doing it and as long as I find enjoyment in it, in terms of the gaming, if you've got to remember, I stopped doing, like, Roblox streams for nearly a year before I decided to come back to them, and even now. If you compare the Roblox multiplayer's frequency with the Roblox Chaos stuff, you'll notice it's a lot more infrequent than it was, and that's strictly to prevent burnout. I'm doing that so that I don't burn myself out on that stuff. Um, as for the real life videos, I actually have one that I've been meaning to get around to working on. It's where I returned to Toccoa earlier this winter to try and get new photographs of Toccoa Falls and whatnot. So, and I've honestly been sitting on it for a bit, mainly because I've just had a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm hoping this coming week, since I'm only working 2 days, I'm hoping I can get all of that stuff done. The main thing is editing the photographs. I've got, I think, 20, 30 different photographs of Toccoa Falls that I need to edit, in terms of the color and correcting and all that, as well as the video footage. I need to try and look at that. Most of the video, believe it or not, is silent. And what I mean by silent is you've got the ambient sounds, but you don't got me talking. That's something I'm trying to start doing more of, is to just stay quiet and film, basically. You know, I'm trying to let the show don't tell rule apply for a lot of my stuff, especially when I'm at places I've already been to numerous times. Toccoa Falls is one. Chattanooga is one. There's a lot of places I've gone back to, and often I've been trying to get in the habit of just filming what I've already seen, photographing what I've seen, and just not talking because it's already been shown and discussed before, and if not by me, then by other people, so I just want what you see and what you hear to more or less tell the story, if that makes sense. That's how I've always done it. Mainly because even if I were to read a historical plaque, I'd still mess up the history, and that's something I don't like doing. I know a lot of people have commented on stuff I filmed that, much earlier, that I should actually take the time to read up on what I'm filming before going around and just guessing at everything. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong in the slightest. They've got every right to give that criticism, because a lot of times I do guess when I'm somewhere filming. And really, I just film it because I think it's interesting, So, I mean, as you can see at the moment, I've got no intentions of stopping this. It might slow to a crawl or a snail's pace, yeah, but I'm not going to stop. Because, like I said before, I'm doing it as a hobby. I'm doing it on my own time, on my own terms and whatnot, and I'm not doing it for financial gain. The photography is like a different matter. I've been debating on trying to get back into displaying my work. And, well, I was thinking of entering 3 new photos at the Linden House exhibition coming up, but, since it's all online and since they're not accepting in-person submissions anymore, I've decided to graciously decline. I have the photos printed, but I don't have them framed. And I'm going to try and find another gallery somewhere near my area that would be happy to display them and maybe even sell them, I know Madison, Georgia is one place that has a gallery I've displayed at. Lexington's one. I don't know about Crawford. Watkinsville, I could display stuff there. Maybe here in Athens. I'm sure there's some places here in Athens that would take some of my work if I could find somewhere besides the Linden House. So, I mean, I've got options and outlets for the photography, but again, that's also, like my channel, a hobby. The only difference is I could still sell the photos and still make a little bit of money off of them. Problem is in prior displays, I've been told that I greatly underpriced the photos. I'll just say that. The reason I had them at a fairly low price at the time is because I didn't want, the people trying to buy them to think they were being scammed. Because in truth, those pictures don't cost a lot for me to take. And they don't cost a lot for me to get printed, Now, I mean, if you wanted to factor in the cost of printing, the cost of frames, the gas, anything like that, to get to the location and all, you could be petty and do that. But I believe in being fair to people. I don't want to oversell what I've got because, I mean, hell, let's face it, anybody can take the phone or camera out now, take a picture, and claim they're a photographer. That's the norm nowadays. But here's the difference: anybody can say they're a photographer, but it takes a photographer with an artistic eye or a very specific eye to truly be a photographer. Yes, anybody can be a photographer, and there's nothing wrong with that, but unless you have a specific eye, a specific taste, or a specific style and whatnot, you don't usually stand out very well among the crowd. That's one reason I like O. Winston Link's work, is because at the time, photography was an art form, and it did stand out, and his stuff stood out very well because he had an eye for what he wanted people to see. And that sort of is the main inspiration for the photography I've done. It's not all train related, yes, but I have a specific eye. I have a specific, thing I want people to see. Like if I see something interesting or something that looks picturesque to me, I try to often photograph it because, I think it would be interesting to other people, or interesting to look at to other people, because it's unique. It's something, that you might see every day, but when taken or photographed at a different angle or perspective, there's a completely different viewpoint shown. Like for instance, you could photograph a train in 100 different ways, but all it takes is one different angle, one different viewpoint, or one different perspective, and it makes that photo stand out amongst the literal thousands or even millions of train photos that people have taken. Same goes with planes or cars or boats or nature or animals. I mean, every photographer has their own style. Every YouTuber has their own style. And you're going to have people copying. You're going to have people trying to copy what you're doing. That's normal. That just comes with the art form. It's competition. And like my channel, I'm not going to stop the photography. That's one of my main hobbies. I've been doing it since 2017. Heck, technically I've been doing it even longer, ever since before I even started YouTube. We're talking like, oh God, 2007 or so. But that was just a kid running around with one of those child-proof cameras that you could bang around and it would still work fine. Only trouble is it never really, I didn't know what the heck I was photographing at the time. So none of that stuff exists anymore. That's all been wiped away into the recycle bin of infinity or whatever it is. But that's beside the point, and the photography is beside the point. I could go on and on about photography, but as far as the YouTube stuff goes, like I said, I'm still going to hang around here. I still watch stuff. I still look at stuff. And I still make stuff, This live streaming is a good example. And I mean, let's face it. If I was going to stop, I would make a video about it. And there have been plenty of times where I thought about doing that. Where I thought I should just stop or take a break or something. But I didn't. I stayed. And I'm honestly glad I did, because it gives me an outlet, I mean, hell, aside from people I talk to online, there's not a lot of, real life people who know me, in my area that I can go and hang out with as far as friends go, Yeah, there's family, but it'd be nice to have some friends I could go and actually physically get outside and meet up with and talk to, That's only happened on a few occasions. My friend Kevin, who's in Cordial, he and I have been able to meet up since he lives around there. And then, of course, my friend from New England, I was able to meet him twice. But even then, those were rare occasions where, everything just happened to line up at the right time and work out at the right time, It's not a common thing. And for me, it's not common much at all, actually. But, it is what it is. It's no big deal. Better to remain, I guess, I I don't know, some sort of normal, you know, than to be constantly bombarded by like 90,000 or a million people online asking you, when's your next video going out? Can I meet up with you? Can I collab with you? You know? And trust me, there's a few people I know who have to deal with that, and it's not fun. Okay? It's actually exhausting, I'm sure. Very exhausting. Not to mention frustrating. But anyways, I believe I have mentioned all I need to mention regarding all this. So, I believe I'm going to end it here. And to those of you watching, I hope you'll take the time to look at this. And yeah, have a good evening. Rare Preserver 2000 out.